Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm Priscilla. I'm the owner of A Life Full of Simplicity. So today's video is going to be my reflections video for the last 2 months. So I didn't end up putting up my October reflections last month in November because I ended up getting sick. Well, my mom was sick and then I got whatever she got. So I didn't film, I barely filmed in November because I wasn't feeling too good and my voice was really bad. So I just took care of me and decided that I wasn't going to film and I wasn't able to film my October reflections. So it's now December and I have my November reflections to film, but I also wanted to talk about what I did and what decks I used in October. So I made a decision to just put them together. So this might be a long video. Apologies. Grab a snack, watch it in parts. I don't know, but it's probably going to be a long one. I'll try to not make it too long, but we'll see how things go. So I'm going to start with my daily decks and start with October. So in October, I used the Horror Tarot and the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle as my pairing for my daily decks. Hopefully you can see. So that was my pairing. Now, the Seasons of the Witch Oracle, this is my focus when I do my daily. I do daily advice and then rune. And this deck is amazing. I have no complaints whatsoever with it, honestly. You know, it's a perfect, very glossy though, perfect Halloween, Samhain, spooky month, dark month kind of vibes. And I absolutely love it. The messages that I get from it are absolutely amazing. And I decided that I wanted to pair it with the Horror Tarot, which was a newer deck that I had gotten into my collection. Journey here. Absolutely love it. Cauldron. The Veil. Haunted. And Cauldron. Candle Magic, rather. Yeah, so I do have a flip through and unboxing of this on my channel. It'll be linked down below. That's where you'll always find all my links. When I do my reflections, I always put, if I have an unboxing of it, I always put my unboxing down below because my unboxing has all the links of where you can get the deck. And then if I don't have an unboxing of it, I usually put the publishing house's link or Amazon.com. So yes, so I really enjoyed, I really wanted to work with this more on a daily basis for October this particular year, because when I had gotten it, I hadn't worked with it much. Did I work with it last October? No, I don't think so. I worked with my Halloween Oracle last October. I just did, I think I used this for my weekly practice, but last year, so I didn't work with it as much, and I thought it would pair really nicely with the Horror Tarot, which was a new deck that I had gotten specifically for October. I really love Abigail Larson's artwork in The Nightmare Before Christmas, so I was like, oh, this seems right up my alley in terms of you know, Halloween spooky vibes and things like that. So I did my unboxing for this, and if you had seen it, I talked about, I did my unboxing and then I talked about how some of the imagery was a little bit difficult. I wasn't really getting how the imagery was fitting into the meaning that is assigned to them, right? And I read the guidebook and things like that. And I even looked for some of the characters, especially the court cards, what they were. I don't even think all of them, I don't think none of them say, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm just going to look at this one and see. So for example, King of Pentacles. This looks like some kind of Yeti or something of the sort. I don't know if it's coming off. Or maybe Sasquatch or something. Let me see here. What is this? Pentacles? No, Cups is last. Where are Pentacles? Here we go. And it doesn't even say what this is. Like, it doesn't say who the figure is in, or the monster or whatever, the being. It doesn't say who the being is in the card, in the guidebook. And like from Inside Edition's other guidebooks that I have, they name the characters. Now, my guess is because it's a different author and maybe they wrote the guidebook, and it's good guidebook if you want like basic meanings, if you just want like the traditional RWS meanings. But I wanted something that focused more on the theme and the imagery and the artwork that's here, you know? Like, it's a themed deck, so I would want the guidebook to be themed along with it, but it wasn't, and it wasn't doing that for me. And I wasn't sure when I did my unboxing and going through the cards and the fact that there was, I didn't say who they were, or at least like even just give a generic name. Like, is this a merman? I'm assuming this is a merman. Like, even if they're basing the character off of a real life classical horror, they could have just used the generic name for, like, I don't think they would be copyrighted for that, in my opinion. Like, unless, in case there was, like, copyright issues. So, yeah. So I spent a lot of time assuming things. Like, I still don't know what the hell this is. Like, King of Swords. Is this like a cyborg or like some alien? I don't know. Alien metal robot? I don't know. So I was like, in my unboxing, I was like, okay, I'm going to spend an entire month with this and see how it goes. And that's what I did. And I tried really hard not to use the guidebook. Honestly, I think the guidebook was just tripping me up and wasn't giving me the information I was looking for. So the guidebook I didn't use during my daily practice. Instead, I focused on just using the imagery to tell me what it is that I was being advised based on my focus. My focus for the month. So that's what I tried to do, and I had a hard time. I had a hard time because I'm not familiar with the horror genre. So it just wasn't working for me. So I don't know if I'll use this next year during October month, but I'm still glad that I picked it up. I still really love the imagery. Honestly, I do really love the imagery. But I don't know. It paired nicely with the Seasons of the Witch, though. I have to say that with the Seasons of the Witch, it read well together. I found like the connection that was going on between the focus and the advice was really on par, or really up to par, rather. So I really enjoyed that. I'm just trying to read my notes and see if there was anything else. Yeah, for me, there was just really a disconnect between the guidebook and the artwork. And I wish that they were more connected. Like, if you're going to make a theme deck, I feel like the guidebook should be on theme as well, and not just be focused just on the traditional meanings, in my opinion. I feel like, it should be themed accordingly. Like, if you're going to do a theme, do the go big or go home, I guess. Do the full big theme and everything like that. That's really what I was hoping for when I bought this, but yeah, that's not what happened. So I use this mainly for my daily. I also did a few spreads by itself. Like I did my simple month ahead spread with it, which is only 3 cards. But I also did like a new deck interview spread from the current Hermit. And I really like that. So I ended up getting Strength, Nine of Cups, Nine of Cups, Knight of Cups, and King of Cups. So I got a lot of cups. There was a lot of cups going on in this reading. And I pretty much interpreted this as that the emotions were really coming out, and that the energy was really strong, that it has a lot of power, but there's a feel that everything is in control at the same time. So power, a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, but still feeling like you're in control. I wrote here that the imagery feels as though I'm pouring my different emotions into this deck. Feels like it's at different levels, which makes sense with the Knight of Cups and needing to learn that this deck will bring up different emotions and I shouldn't lose my head over it. Which makes sense because I was like, what's going on? Like every time I pull the card, I'm like, I don't, like a lot of the time I understood because it was like basic RWS kind of clone, but sometimes it was like I think the core cards, it's the core cards that really messed me up in this deck. And some of the pentacles too. Like this is the 7 of Pentacles, and it's just a bunch of gravestones. And then trying to find some other pentacles because there was a lot of pentacles. A lot of the time it was the pentacles that were like, what's going on? What am I doing? Oh, this 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, I think it was the 7, the 8, and the 9 of Pentacles. And then I think the 3 that were like, I was looking at it and I was like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I get it, but I also don't get it. Yeah, here's the 8. And the guidebook talks about building skills and mastering your skills and apprenticeship and things like that. And I'm just like, it's a tree that has a bunch of pentacles carved into it. Like, I kept sitting here and I was just like, when I was using this deck in October, I kept looking at this card and I was like, am I mastering my skill by like practicing my carving? Like, it was just too funny. I couldn't. I was just like, I don't, like, I get it, but I also don't get it. Here, this one, the 3. No, the 4 I get. The 3. It's 3 pentacles hanging from like a tree, like 3 trees. So what I know about the 3 of Pentacles is like that it's supposed to be teamwork, collaboration, hard work, learning from others. I don't get how any of those meanings fit into this, and I'm pretty sure the guidebook talks about collaboration. So I was just like, wait, what? Like, I just don't get it. Oh no, it talks about promotions and recognition. A promotion or job opportunity presents itself in your area of expertise. But I don't get how this ties into that. So I don't know. We had a rough time. We had a rough time with this deck. Or I wouldn't say we had a rough time. I would say that I had a long process with this deck. Like I had to really sit there and think. And usually with my dailies, I just want to get the message, write it down, and go, because it's like I have no time. Like I have no time. But in like this case, I felt like I needed to really focus and really take time to think about what I was going to be writing, because some of the imagery that came up. Like a lot of the time, if I didn't get those specific cards or if I didn't get a court card, I was like, okay, I'm on point. Let me write this down. Let's go. But then when I got some of the cards that were tougher, which were all the court cards, had a hard time with the court cards, and then some of these pentacles that I mentioned, it just wasn't it. I was just sitting here and I was just like, what are you trying to tell me? I don't understand. I just don't understand whatsoever. I also did a Pluto direct spread, one that I created myself, as well, and I used the Horror Tarot. I don't think I used it for any other purpose. Oh, I did a Scorpio season spread with it. Yeah, I think that was the last thing. Scorpio season spread. So yeah, that was, I think, my main issue. No issues with the Oracle, but my main issue was with the tarot that I was using in October, which is such a shame. Like, honestly, such a shame for me specifically, because I really wanted to love this deck. Like, I really, really wanted, or I do love this deck, but I really wanted to have a better connection with it, is what I'm trying to say. I wanted to have a better connection with it because I do love it. It's a beautiful deck, but we just didn't connect in October. We just did not whatsoever. With the daily, I also had my rune set from Running Press. This was the rune set that they sent me as part of my welcome box. And I was like, okay, let me start using this because I've been using my witches runes for like months, and I love those so much. And I really want to go back to using them because this is so hard. But I'm like, no, don't give up. Learn the runes, but they are hard. But I feel like this small guidebook that it comes with has been so helpful. And yes, I use the guidebook. Like, I'm not even there with the runes yet where I can't just let this go. Like, I can't. Like, some of them I don't even know the names of still. And I'm still working through that. But in October, it was the first month that I used this particular set, and we started off rocky. So the month of October, I didn't learn any of them. I didn't know which ayat or ayat they were in. Half the time I couldn't even remember like what they were unless I got them multiple times. So yeah. But this in October when I was started my journey, this was really helpful. Honestly, really, really, really helpful. And I'm really glad that I've been using this set because this little book is amazing. Then we move on to my planetary work. So for my planetary work, I use the Halloween Tarot. It's this one here. I love this deck. I need this in the mini form. I need the mini version. Because I love this deck so much. Like, it's so quirky, so funny. Like, look at that tower card. So good. This one's super easy to read. It's a literal, in my opinion, it's like a clone of RWS. And I just love it. All of them are renamed. All the suits, rather, are renamed. Pumpkins are pentacles. Bats are swords. Imps are wands. And ghosts are cups. And I just love this so much. Like, look at this, 7 pentacles. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So pretty much for my planetary work, obviously, if you watched my previous reflection videos, you would know that every day of the week is associated with a specific planet. And what I do is I pull a card, and then I take the characteristics of that planet and then interpret it with the card. For example, Saturn, for example, which is Saturday, release, structure, pessimism are the key words for Saturn. And if I pulled, let's say I don't know, let me think. Okay, let's say I pulled like the Four of Bats, which is the Four of Swords. I would interpret, I could either take release, pessimism, or structure. In that case, I'd probably take release and probably say, write down, release your worries and focus on rest. And that's how I would interpret that. The box is really small, so I just like write like one sentence. I'm not like journaling like no tomorrow. There's no space for that. So it's a small little thing. Helps me get in touch with the planets more and just focus on their energy, which is what I've really been enjoying doing. So definitely something I'll be continuing in the new year because I really love that practice. But yeah, look at this Five of Ghosts. So cute. I love it. I really want the mini version of this because it's so adorable. So adorable. This is like one of the best Halloween decks on the market, to be honest with you, like mass market version. So I absolutely love this, and I love that I used it for my planetary work. I felt like it was some good energy to bring into that, in my opinion, because this is like so quirky, and I feel like sometimes you got to bring in quirky energy to work with the planets, because the planets sometimes they themselves can be pretty quirky, if I say so myself. Especially with how they're transiting and stuff like that. So they be acting weird sometimes. So that's yeah, that was the Halloween tarot. That's what I used for my planetary work. So next we have my weekly deck. So with my weekly practice in October, I did both a weekly reading, which was 2 cards, and I did my weekly pull for the week, which is just 1 card that I pull, and then it's my focus for the week, and then I do like my sigil based on that, and that goes in my it used to go in my planner, but then for October I moved it into my tarot journal. So yes, and for that practice I used the Jack-o'-lantern tarot. This was a newer deck to my collection. I actually bought it with the horror tarot, so I bought both of those for spooky month. They were ones that I had on my wish list and really wanted to bring into my collection. So that's what I ended up doing. I really enjoy my weekly practice in terms of pulling 1 card, that being my focus for the week, and then doing my sigil. I really enjoy that very much. But I got kind of tired of doing the weekly reading, so I ended up still doing it for October. And at the end of the month, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Because it was just too much. It was just too much. And I felt like I was putting like too much pressure on myself to constantly do readings all the time. And I just was not having it. So this deck is literally a clone, RWS clone. But it's so strange. Like, it's such a strange. I love the artwork though. Like, look at this hangman. Like, look at their outfit. It's so weird. I don't know if you can see. There's like eyes and it has like a pumpkin. It's so weird. A lot of them also look like they're wearing pajamas. Or just wearing like Spanx or something. And I kind of like it. Or some of them are not even wearing anything. They're just like in the nude. But it's just really funny. I'm trying to find here this one. Like they're wearing like a bodysuit. It looks like they're wearing a bodysuit. It's just so funny. But I like the art style. Like look at this person, what they're wearing. It like has a face on it. It has like eyes and like a beak. I have a full unboxing of this on my channel, so you'd be able to see all the cards, but and in better quality because I'm sure they're not coming up properly. But yeah, look at this Ace of Wands. It's like a spine. They're holding a spine with heads on the top. So weird. But I really love it, and I love the colors. I really want this artist's other deck. Who is this? Giuliano Costa. They have another deck. Oh God, what's it called? The Raphaelite tarot. And I really want that one because I really like their art style. Their art style is really interesting. And yeah, I have that one on my wish list. So when this came out, oh my God, when did this come out? I think last year. Does it say? Let's see if it says. I think it came out last year. Yeah, it came out last year. Printed 2021, May 2021. Yeah, I had put it on my list to get last year, but I ended up not getting it because I got some other decks for Halloween last year. But I really enjoyed this one. I'm definitely going to use this again next October because it was just so fun. I just have to think of what to pair with this oracle wise. Maybe the Halloween oracle would probably go well with this, in my opinion. I didn't try to see the pairing or anything like that, so we shall see. We shall see. So yeah, weekly practice. I ended up knocking off the weekly readings. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Good day, goodbye. Next, simple Sunday spread. So I ended up using my Nightmare Before Christmas and then the Halloween Oracle. These pair amazing together. I absolutely love them together because of the black borders, and they're both matte. So yeah, they pair amazing. So I ended up using these for my Simple Sunday spread, which is the spread that I do from Dawn Michelle from her Boho Tarot Facebook group. So I typically use the Oracle as the initial card that focuses on the main question. So for example, in this reading, it was how can I support myself this fall? Number 1, forgive my mistakes. 2, accept my flaws. 3, honor my spirit. So that's how it is, right? It's supposed to be a 3 card, but instead I pull an oracle to answer the initial question, which is how can I support myself this fall? And then I pull 3 cards from the tarot to answer the other 3 questions. I absolutely love this deck, and I love that it's in the matte cardstock because it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I know that you can use this year-round if you take out like the more Halloween-y cards. You could probably use this year-round, like if I took out the zombie, for example, because it does have a winter card, so you could probably use it this season. Jack-o'-lantern, love it. But yeah, I love this deck very much, and I love pairing it with the Nightmare Before Christmas because it just pairs so well. And I know that they're very different, obviously, in art style and things like that, but I love them together. It's like absolutely love them together. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Like, because of the borders, because of the black borders, they just pair so well, in my opinion, together. So I don't know. I just love them so much. But yeah, so I pull 3 cards. So a lot of my focus is on, you know, the Nightmare Before Christmas deck, which I absolutely love. I love this deck so much. At the moment, it's one of my favorites from Insight Editions, besides my Disney villains. Look at them. They're so cute. And I've never been a super fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, I've watched this movie like once or twice. So like it's not like I'm like I needed this deck, but when I got it, I really enjoyed it. Like, I love reading with this. And in the guidebook, they name all the characters, so it's easy to understand who I'm looking at, which is great. And again, I know it's pippish, but I actually don't mind that. And I love it very much. Oh, so cute. Oh, I love it so much. But yeah, I enjoyed using this with the Halloween Oracle for my simple Sunday readings. Did I end up doing them all? I don't know. I don't remember if I ended up doing them all. I don't think I did them all. I think I only did 3, 4. No, I think I did do them all. 4. There should have been only 4, I think. Yeah, I did all 4 of them. There's not really much to say, honestly. For these were pretty, like, obviously they're simple Sunday spreads, so they're pretty simple, but the pairing was fantastic. I'm already used to this particular pairing to begin with, so I already had no issues with it. Reading with it was no problem. It was probably the easiest. This is probably the easiest pairing for me to read, because I already have so much experience with reading these 2 decks together already. So there's already a connection there for me, because I used these last year. I used these together last October, together, and I used also the Nightmare Before Christmas in December as well. So like we're pretty on the safe side with the Nightmare Before Christmas. I have no issues whatsoever reading with that particular deck, and I love the Halloween Oracle. You have the title, you have a keyword, and I feel like it's pretty expansive a lot of the time. I don't need to go in the guidebook for this particular deck. There's only a few that I'll go in the guidebook for, but other than that, it's like pretty self-explanatory for me. When using these together, they're like perfect for what I need them for. So yeah, those were my simple Sunday spreads. Then we go into my moon decks. Now I ended up only doing the full moon reading. I ended up not doing a reading for the new moon, which is fine, whatever. I got really behind and I just didn't have time whatsoever. So I ended up using my zombie tarot, which was interesting because I haven't used this deck in a while. And that's why I wanted to bring it out. Now, I will say it does not pair aesthetically well with the Moonology Oracle cards at all. And that's what I used. Obviously, when it comes to my moon practice, I always pull the card specifically for the full moon or new moon in whatever zodiac sign it is. And then I write down that specific card, the message from that specific card, and then I will go into the actual reading. So I'll do an actual moon spread with the tarot. So yes, I used the zombie tarot, and I love this deck. Super duper sassy, so funny. Honestly, the imagery is hilarious, and I have no problem reading with this at all. Like, I've done regular readings with this particular deck. I find it absolutely hilarious to read with. I just hadn't picked it up in a while, so I knew that October was coming. I had selected the decks, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I was going to use, I think, a different deck for my moon readings, and I decided I really wanted to use this one. So that's what I did. So I only did one spread with it. Since I ended up not doing the new moon spread, I only did the full moon in Aries, which was by AP Astrology. And I liked it. What did I end up getting? I got the moon, the Four of Pentacles, the Hangman, and the Emperor. And what did it talk about? It talked about going deeper, I think. And to stop standing my own way, changing my perspective on things, telling myself that I need to focus on working hard and making changes so I could be more motivated. More motivated into doing things. She's like shooting the zombies in the water. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I love it. There's one card in here where the woman is like kicking her husband down the stairs where the zombies are. But yeah, there is a like a trajectory of a story with this particular deck where you end up coming to like living with the zombies. So you have here train zombies, the Dead Mart. So you have a store where you can buy zombies. It's so funny. We have the Chariot, which is a hearse from a funeral home. So good. Also, it's very 1930s, 40s, 50s kind of style. The Empress. Her and her daughter zombie. Yeah, this is just great. I love it so much. You're a pet zombie. He has a zombie on a leash, but acting like a dog. Oh, here's the same one. It's the same person, but they're playing fetch. Dog zombie. Training a zombie to mow the lawn. It's too good. I'm just like, wow. It's hilarious. Here's grandma with a gun. Like the creators of this are amazing. I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So good. So great. I absolutely love it. The Hierophant is the TV. Which makes sense for the time that it's supposed to be set in. Five of Cups. This family is like in a graveyard and there's like zombies everywhere. Accepting your brother zombie. Yeah, so I had a really good time doing my full moon spread. Like, honestly, it was all good and fun. Oh, I still have my cards here for my full moon spread. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, wait, I'm missing a card. No. Oh, here we go. Yeah, they were on the bottom. So, yeah, the moon, the Four of Pentacles, which are in here, is the Four of Hazards, the Hanged Man, and the Emperor. So good. Love the Emperor in this deck. Feels very authority and everything. He's like protecting his son. He like boarded up the door behind him because zombies are trying to get in. Zombies are like trying to get in. So yes, I loved it. I think I want to use this more next October. I usually don't pull this out during the regular year. But I feel like if I'm thinking now from Dawn's video where she paired decks with books, I feel like a good book that would pair well with this is the Zombie Survival Guide. That book is just so funny, and I feel like the energy would pair well with this particular deck because this deck is hilarious. I think that was it. I think those were all the decks. Yeah, those were all the decks for October. So now we can get into November. So November, I decided that so obviously I scratched out the weekly readings. I was only going to do a weekly focus, which was something I was already doing, but I was just going to stick with that and not do an actual reading at the same time as well. And I decided to change my month ahead readings. Instead of doing a month ahead spread, I would do predictions instead based on my birth chart. So yes. So for those, I started using the Field Tarot, and I would use the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Oracle for my birth chart stuff, like pull the cards and stuff for my birth chart. Do I have an unboxing of this on my channel? I don't even know. I don't know if I have an unboxing of the Field Tarot on my channel, if I put one up. But I love this deck. The colors go really well together, in my opinion. The blues in these cards. So yeah, I enjoy them together, to be honest with you, because they're both like pastelish or like muted, very muted tones. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up using these decks specifically for my November predictions, end of month review, which is something I started also in November, and my lunar return, which I also started in November. So I did those. So for my November predictions, I pulled, obviously it's Scorpio season, or it's still Scorpio season as we go into November. So I pulled out the Scorpio, House 10 card, Moon, and Pluto. So my moon sign is in Scorpio. So my 10th house is ruled by Scorpio, right? I guess that's the language you would use. 10th house is Scorpio. And then my moon and my Pluto are both in that house as well as in Scorpio. So I did that, and I pulled a tarot card for each and put some, like, wrote up an interpretation based on all these cards. Now, I was inspired by Kyra Getchell for this practice. She does something, well, she does her own thing, but I was inspired by seeing similar or something that she does on her channel and just went my own way with it, obviously, because she doesn't go into depth, because as a service you would need to buy from her if you wanted her to do this kind of thing, or the thing that she shows on her channel. If you wanted her to do that, you would need to pay for the service from her. So I decided, okay, I like the fact that she pulls her cards from her chart and then pulls a tarot card for each. So I just decided to do something similar and then just go my own way with it afterwards, because I thought it would be interesting to do something like that and to work with my chart more, since I really want to work with my chart more and understand better my own astrological chart and like the positionings and things that are there. So I did this, and I got I wrote down an interpretation. So yes, so I did that, and then further down in the month, I actually almost forgot about my lunar return, and then I checked my chart, and I was like, oh, it's my lunar return today. So I was like, okay, I better do this. So I did it. And I did the thing that in the guidebook with the heavenly bodies, where it tells you, like, with my moon in Scorpio in my 10th house, you take the keywords at the bottom that are here at the bottom, and then you're supposed to like form a sentence for the thing. Also, it's starting to get dark. Let me put a light on. Oh, is that too bright? Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so I wrote, with my moon in Scorpio in my 10th house, I satisfy emotional needs through exposing, purging, and renewing structures that provide no discipline. How cool is that? And then I asked myself questions based on those, like based on the moon, Scorpio, and 10th house, because I was doing my lunar return. And I asked myself questions for each of these and pulled a card for each. For the Scorpio, I asked myself 2 questions, so I pulled 2 cards. And my 10th house, 2 cards came out, so I took them both. So I did that. Very interesting. I actually really enjoyed working with these two decks together. So let me just show a few of the cards. And I'm excited for the Oracle deck to come out from US Games. I'm hoping it's going to be the same cardstock and stuff, because I really want to get it to pair. I think the 3 of them would pair really nicely. But yes, everyone's really pretty in this deck, and it's also pippish, which again, I don't mind. And there's keywords also. On this deck, there's keywords for the minors and the core cards, but not the majors. So this is the moon. Perspective is the hangman. Hangman was renamed. It's a very like geometric, but I don't mind it at all. I love it so much because it just pairs so well with the heavenly bodies in terms of colors. So yes. Yeah, here's the 7 of Swords with the fox. And it says deception at the bottom. So I really enjoyed doing these practices, actually. I wouldn't say I was surprised, but I definitely enjoyed the results from them. And I definitely felt that I learned something from doing these particular readings, especially my end of month review. Like, okay, so where did I brought in, like when I did my end of month review, I actually, I wrote some questions down that I created, and I actually was able to bring together the cards that I got in the beginning of the month during my predictions, like the predictions that I wrote. And where did I put it? Here. So in the first question I asked was a card to represent this month, and I got the Page of Pentacles, and I wrote that this month was all about growth and creations, and I said that it makes sense with the 6 of Wands, which was pulled at the start of the month, all about manifesting your highest good, which makes 100% sense because that's what I got in the beginning of the month. I even got the Hierophant again, which I also got in the beginning of the month as well. If I just go back here. Yeah, I got the Hierophant paired with Scorpio, which was telling me to like purge things that don't serve me anymore. That way I can learn new things that are more beneficial to me. And I actually got the Hierophant for what do you still need to learn, which was really funny. And it was telling me that I need to learn new things that provide me with structure. So possibly something that I didn't learn this month, but need to carry over. And I put a question mark because like maybe I wasn't focused enough on bringing structure into my life. So that's maybe why I came up again. So I really enjoyed that very much. And I really loved pairing these decks together. So I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to do my lunar return. I have that coming up. Actually, it's coming up on the 20th of December. So I'm going to do another lunar return reading again. I'll probably come up with different questions this time. And obviously, I'm going to get hopefully different cards. Who knows? We'll see, I guess. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But this pairing has been absolute fire. If you have the Heavenly Bodies astrology, I highly recommend the Field Tarot to pair with it because the colors are just perfect. They're perfect. Like I know Kyra uses, what is it? It's not the Spacious Tarot. It's the something Seeker, I think. Star Seeker, maybe? I don't know. Here, let me look it up just to be sure because I don't remember the name of it. Star Seeker Tarot. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, the Star Seeker Tarot is, I believe, what Kyra uses to pair with, yeah, it is, to pair with the Heavenly Bodies. But I'm not really into that deck, like artistry-wise, like imagery-wise, doesn't interest me. I prefer this. I don't know. I think it's more because of the geometric. It has a lot of geometrics. Like even the cover has the geometric shapes. This is the perspective cards, the Hangman. And I don't know. I just like the more linear thing that's going on with these particular decks. It's just something I really, 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 really enjoy. So, yeah. So now we're going to go into my daily decks. So for my daily decks, I used my Modern Hue Tarot, which is back in stock, by the way. So affiliate link down below, discount code down below, back in stock if you want to get it. And I decided to pair it with the Woodland Wardens Oracle, this one here. And I absolutely love this deck. Just something about it screams fall. It screams, I don't know, like, it's obviously forest vibes, in my opinion, right? Woodland Wardens. So I just really, I love this. And for some reason, like when I don't know if you saw my YouTube short, but I did a YouTube short where I showed some pairings, and I just really loved the pairing with this particular deck. It was just everything. I loved it. Obviously, I had some other pairings that I really loved with this particular deck as well. The Modern Hue, which is a recoloration that I absolutely love. Like, oh my god, look at it. It's so beautiful. It's like watercolor. So they use the line work from Pamela Coleman Smith and then put watercolor. They did watercolor. This is from Witch Wool Planner. And I just love it. I also love the font that they use at the bottom. I have a full walkthrough unboxing of this particular deck. And I'm in love so much with this deck. John Travolta. So, yes, it's just great. So I worked with this the entire month. And I did my daily readings with this, and obviously that was my advice card, and then my woodland wow, I can't even speak. Woodland Wardens was my focus, because Oracle for me is always a focus or a theme or something. And oh, I love this deck so much. So cute. Look at his otter. Yeah, this is a deck that I'll for sure go back to time and time again. I've paired it with my Hush Tarot, which I actually really loved also. The moth, ladybug, fox. So yeah, I love this because it has like the animal and then it pairs with like a flower or a plant or herb or something. And I just love that so much. Like this is bear and cedar. Oh, beautiful. It's just so great. And I just love that so much. And it has like some great animals in here. Like, look at this snail. And I love the artwork. Like, I'm Jessica Rue's artwork. I absolutely love. I have her florography book, which I use for bibliomancy. It's one of my faves, frog. And then we have this hound with a pair. So great. I absolutely love it. And for my daily readings, I had no issues. Honestly, I think after October, after the debacle with the horror tarot, I just went back to the basics and what I know, and that for me was the Rider-Waite-Smith. And I had gotten this in September, in like, I don't know, middle of September or beginning of September or something like that, and I had already set up my decks for that month. So I wasn't going to disrupt my structure for a new deck. So I did the unboxing, but then I was like, you know what, I'm going to work with this in November because October is spooky month. I'm not going to be using regular decks in October. I never use regular decks in October, not even last year. So really I focus on using like spooky related decks. So I decided that I was going to use this in November. It was a hands down, but it was a good refresh and a good cleanse from October, and having a hard time with the horror tarot. I found it to be just a better time and just getting back to basics for me. So that's what I did. I used that, and we had a good time with the focus and the tarot deck. I did get a lot. I did get a lot of like healing related cards, change related cards in my daily related polls, which was pretty funny. I also would say that I missed, so I ended up getting sick, and then the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, I didn't do any readings. I did nothing. I didn't do my daily, I didn't do my planetary, so we have just like big X's in my journal here. I usually don't, like for my daily practice, I usually don't have like things like that. Like I'll skip like regular readings, like big readings, but usually my daily I have it, but I just felt so bleh. So I was just like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do nothing. So yeah, we have some holes there, which was fine. I also used the Modern Hue for my Sagittarius season spread. I got a lot of swords in that reading, so I made a note at the bottom that mental awareness is important with this particular coming up season for Sagittarius. The spread I did was by AP_astrology. So yeah, and then that was it. I didn't use this deck any other way other than for my daily practice. Like both decks, I didn't use them any other way other than for my daily practice, which was a chill. Like I think November was like super chill and like really good. I also changed up my journal in November, and I love how I set up my journal way better in November than I did in October. I will show my journal. So I'm doing the same practice in December. So when I do my December reflections, we'll go back to the usual way that I do my reflections videos, and I will show you my December setup. So yes. Then what do we have next? Then we have my weekly. No, then we have my planetary. I'm going to do my planetary, and then I'll do my weekly. So for my planetary, I decided to go with When My Soul Whispered Oracle, mainly because it fit the aesthetic with the Modern Hue, and I absolutely love those two together. Actually, they pair really well. But I really wanted to use my Woodland Wardens because it was November, and I was like, I need this vibe in my life. Like I need it right now. I need this like fall vibe because it's still fall, you know. So yeah, so I decided to use When My Soul Whispered Oracle for my planetary work, and I love this deck so much. It's a mini oracle deck. We need more of these in our lives. Like I need more mini oracle decks in my life, to be honest with you, because I just absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. And as I explained already, so, you know, the days of the weeks are associated with a specific planet. You know, Sunday is Sun, Moon is a Monday, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, and Saturday is Saturn. So, you know, we just pull a card associated, pull a card and then associate it with the planet's characteristics. That's really what I've been doing. And this month in November, I decided to move away from my planner because I made the decision that I wasn't going to use my calendar, my new planner, for this purpose. So I actually made a calendar view in my planner. I didn't like how this one came out. I actually like December's better, but yes, this is what it looks like. Very simple. I have the names at the top. I have a little key here for when if I use tarot, because these boxes are way too small to write out Queen of Pentacles. So I did the elemental association, like the symbol for the elements, and then Q for Queen, K for King, KN for Knight, and P for Page. And I wrote this down just so I could remember, even though I wasn't using tarot, but it was good to have it written and write it down. I got the Divinity card quite a bit. I actually got it 2 days in a row, so Sunday and Monday, and then I received it again on the 26th. Did I get it any other times? No. I also got Intuition. I found this really funny. I got Intuition twice, 2 weeks in a row, the same day. So the 9th, which is a Wednesday, and the 16th, which is also a Wednesday. I also got it on the 12th. And did I get it any other time? No. And then the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, I didn't pull any cards. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I actually interpret them differently, by the way, on the 9th and 16th. So the 9th, I put communications start from listening within. And then the 16th, I put communicate with your inner self. So yeah, still pretty different in my opinion. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed using this deck for my planetary work, mainly because it has like, it doesn't have really keywords. It just has the one word on it. But the guidebook has more keywords associated with each card. You have positive ones, and then you have like the reverse. So you have like upright reverse keywords, which were really fun. So sometimes I would just like look at those to spark my imagination. I love this wisdom card. So lovely. Because sometimes they'd be different than what's on the card, which I actually really, really, really love. So that's the only way that I use this particular deck. Typically when I pick one deck for my planetary work, I don't usually use it in other ways. Not typically anyway. Okay, now we go to the weekly deck. So for my weekly deck, I had just gotten the Signs of Times Oracle, and I really wanted to use it. I got this in, I think October. And I really wanted to use it. So as I said, I decided to scratch the weekly reading concept and just stick with a weekly focus and putting this on my altar, and then doing a sigil associated with the card. And this deck has both a title and a keyword on the card. It's very modern, but I absolutely love it. I spoke about this actually in my upcoming releases video, but I wasn't sure about it. Honestly, I was on the fence. But then I watched a full unboxing of it, and I was like, I'm in love with this. So I bought it. It pairs great with the Lightseers Tarot, by the way. Like, absolutely amazing. It pairs absolutely amazing with the Lightseers. So, yes, I did this for my weekly practice, and we had a grand old time. Honestly, it was really great. So let's see what I have here. The first week I got yield, which is patience, yin yang, which is balance. Then I got the lotus flower, which is enlightenment. Then the last week I got dice, which is chance. Did I get any repeating cards? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I guess not. Okay, so I guess I didn't get any repeating cards because I also use this with Lightseers for my Simple Sunday spreads, which I didn't do all of them. I think I only did 2, which is fine. Whatever. We're not gonna put pressure on ourselves to do a bunch of spreads. I've just been taking it easy with the Simple Sunday. When I feel like doing them, I do them. But at least I have, decks assigned to them when I want to do it. So I think everyone knows the Lightseers by now, honestly. But these pair amazing together. Well, I really like the pairing together. And I don't know if it's because they're both pretty modern decks, in my opinion. But yeah, I've been enjoying them together. So as I do with the Sunday spreads, I pull, the Oracle to answer the main question and then the Tarot to answer the 3 positions. So I only did 2 of the spreads because I was sick. So I didn't end up doing a lot of spreads, to be honest with you, because I ended up getting sick and I just really wanted to take it easy in November. So that's what I did. So I did 2 spreads. I did one about how I can let go of shadows of the past. So about shadows, and then how can I set the foundation for abundance. Those were the ones that I did. So yes, I didn't use these particular decks for any other purpose except this month. So this month I actually made these 2 decks my daily decks. So I've been working with them a lot. And really because I wanted to work with this more. I only got to work with it in 2 occasions for the Simple Sunday spreads, and then weekly, like 4 times for my weekly pull. So I wanted to focus on these more because I absolutely love them. So I've been using them this month, and I'll talk about them more next month when I do my December reflections. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was, actually, I didn't even talk about my runes. Okay, let me talk about runes first, and then I'll talk about, lastly, my moon decks. So I still continue to use the rune set from Running Press that they sent me. And honestly, I feel even more confident with this now. Now, okay, I still don't know all the meanings, so I still use this little guidebook, but I now feel way more confident in the sense that a lot of them, especially the ones that have repeated and have been repeating, I know which ayat they're in, so I know which section they're in now a lot of the time. There's a few that I haven't gotten yet, so I don't know those, but the ones that I have gotten, I'm like, okay, I know this is in Hagal's. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, probably not Hagal's ayat, so let me just go and find it. So I just flip through and I find it right away. Some of them, I know them already by name because I've gotten them so many times, so I'm like, okay, Iwaz, I know that's you. Because it looks like an M. Yeah, so that one I've gotten a few times. So I know that one already. I know Burkana already. Sowilo already as well. Perthro, Huggles. Like, I know those ones already because I keep getting them. So far, the practice with the runes is going well, and I'm excited to keep using this little guidebook. And then hopefully, at one point, I won't need it. Because, that's progress and growth, in my opinion. So, moon decks. So I decided to switch it up and use the Moonology Manifestation Oracle, and I really wanted to go back to the Cosmic Slumber. Honestly, I really love this deck, and I really missed it. So, here we are, together again. I love this deck so much. So, as always, for the Moonology, I literally don't use this as an oracle. I just pull the exact card for the moon as a focus, as an intention, as an energy for me to focus on for that specific moon. So what did I do? I did a full moon reading and I did a new moon reading. That I know. So we had a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. I used a different spread this time. I used a spread from Sky Miranda Tarot. It was only 2 cards, low energy, and I was like, yes, please, thank you. 2 cards. And then we did the New Moon in Sagittarius spread. This was by AP Astrology. This one was 4 cards, so a little bit more energy. And I think the full moon happened right when I got sick, or when my mom got sick. So I was like, let me do some low energy reading here with 2 cards. I found that spread and I was like, ooh, perfect, right up my alley. I love me a good spread that's low energy. This is my favorite High Priestess, which if you saw my collab with Cosmic Lunar Soul, you'd know that. This is my favorite High Priestess. I will leave that video linked down below so you can check it out. But yes, absolutely love this deck so much. The messages from it, the imagery, like there's so much depth because there's so much going on. And I love it so much. Like I love using this. And especially for moon work, I feel like you can really feel the emotion or what's going on in the imagery. So you can really feel that, and that I like, especially when it comes to doing readings for moon. For the moon, you know, the moon is all about emotion and whatnot. Even if, regardless of what sign it's in, the moon itself is about your emotions. So I just love this so much. It's one of my favorites. Just looking at it. Look at this queen. She has like a cow just laying on her lap. Oh, beautiful. We have the 2 of Wands. There's 2 tunnels to decide to go through. I just really, really, really love it. So yeah, I don't know what it is about this deck, but I love it so much. So the reading that I did was about the relationship with yourself. That's why it was 2 cards. So it's like your current relationship with yourself, your future relationship with yourself. And I really love that. I felt like I really needed to check in with myself. So that was like a really good reading to do. Like fantastic reading. And then the new moon reading that I did was really about the narrative or the story that I'm creating for myself and like around me, pretty much. So we had like what energy or narrative is this new moon ushering in? What does this energy impact my personal? How does this energy impact my personal story? How can I integrate this more into my life? And where will I see a new cycle emerge as a result? So it was really heavily focused. I feel like on like my own personal self, my own personal development, but as well as like moving through and being motivated to move through the goals that I have for myself, the things that I want to set for myself, the things that I want to do for myself as well. So I really like this new moon reading. Honestly, I love the spreads from AP Astrology. Like he has such great spreads and I just love doing them. Every time he has one, I try to do it, but I think he had one for the full moon, but I think it was just too many cards and I was just too low of energy and I was just like I can't do this right now. So when I found the 2 card spread, I was like, this is perfect. And it was about myself and like your relationship with yourself. And I thought that was like a good subject matter for how I was feeling. So it was just perfect. Honestly, just perfect. So yeah, so that's all I'm going to talk about. Honestly, we're not going to talk about anything else because this video is already long. I'm going to go back to my usual format for December's reflection, so don't you worry. But I really just wanted to discuss the decks that I used in my own personal practice and the things that I did and how we got along and what went on and things like that. And that was all that I wanted to discuss for these past 2 months. Just so you know, I feel like sharing, right? And I hope that you enjoyed me sharing. And I would love to hear your thoughts below. Like if you use any of the decks that I talked about, let me know how your relationship or your connection is with them, because I'd love to know. If you have the Horror Tarot, I would actually love to hear your opinion on this particular deck and how you get on it, how you get on with it. If there's any tips that you have for me for this particular deck, I would love to have them. Honestly, let me know down below what you thought about what I shared. So yes, that was everything, all the decks that I used. I've been really enjoying my practice this December, so I'm excited to see what goes on in the new year and to share what I did in December and things like that. And I'll actually share my journal as well, because I will be ending this in December. So I will be starting a new journal in the new year. So I'm excited for that as well. So yes, I do thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on that bell so you can be notified every time I post a brand new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it's greatly appreciated. And of course, it helps me in the long run. So yes, thank you so much, and I hope that you have a great day.